market was closed yesterday, January 19th. The best stock will go in the Discord at 9:30 a.m. For you YouTube subscribers seeing this, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button to get notified. Get stock ideas before everyone else sees them. Here's the deal. Market gap down, and I still don't think it's the best time to buy Bitcoin yet. It could be in the next week or two. As far as the big stocks, Nvidia looks not great, and Tesla, keep it on watch, but I think the best opportunities right now are not in, the government takes a stake type deals. Intel had a big move in the past month, came back a little bit. Of course, the government took a stake in Intel months ago, but there has been momentum there. Retail names, Abercrombie and Fitch, American Eagle, crushed. So I don't think retail is a good place to be right now. ANET, some of these semi names, LRCX, KLAC, they're still up a lot. You can let those go. I'll give you the names right now that I think look interesting. Mainly silver. So silver is very strong right now. Great comment from Anonymous. If he comments again, read it. He knows about how silver connects to gold, the commodities, metals super cycle, he calls it, which stock moves up when fertilizers and then agriculture are the last. And also he commented about the Venezuela gold oil being quote unquote sour. And so that's been the move for Halliburton, Schlumberger, these oil refinery companies. That's why they're running up, and they could run more. Right now, I think the best oil stock is ConocoPhillips. It's a slow moving stock. Oil held over the weekend, so that's COP is the ticker for that. Notably, oil held even as the market gap down. So I think COP is interesting, as well as palladium and platinum. You can play those as PPLT for palladium, and then for platinum, and then PALL for palladium. A lot of very similar ticker names here. Got to get those straight. PALL is palladium. PPLT is platinum. Take a look at these. They're not the smoothest, but definitely could have opportunities very soon, as well as ConocoPhillips. So I think those are very interesting. I will drop the best stock in the Discord at 9:30 as the market gives us little hints of what it might do into the open. And of course, the stocks that make up the market each give their own hints. And so I want to buy, the best stock that's doing well in this current market. And how that works is market is made up of all these participants, and the money doesn't just get sucked out. I mean, in very rare cases it does, right? I mean, there was 2008 crash, the dot-com bubble, but even then that money goes into certain stocks. So the money could get sucked out of everything, and then it's not actually everything. Suddenly you see gold stocks going up, and so that's still a stock, even though it's a commodity that is sort of getting ultimately invested into. So not all stocks go down. Money gets rotated. So right now I think palladium and platinum is where the money's getting rotated. Market is gapping down a little bit. I'm not saying this is going to be the top or anything, alarmist like that. But if you say you have 5 positions open, they're 10% positions, and then maybe you have half your portfolio in cash right now. So I'm not going to comment on if that's a good allocation or not for right now, but let's say you do. in terms of exposure, what you might do is say, hey, one of these positions is, maybe it's a retail name you've got and it's starting to move down. And you want to take the money and put it in cash. Maybe you take that money and, it was already invested. It's vesting in a fallen stock. Maybe you take that money from that falling stock and put it into a commodity type stock, like a PPLT. You're investing through PPLT, this platinum stock, in basically a commodity that might be more of a safe haven. So that's a way to, an investment decision you might make. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own diligence, do your own research. We have a lot of videos on this channel within just the past few days, even on what, could be expected to happen in terms of liquidity injections into the market, which is a euphemism for a market go up. I am deliberately not using certain words related to basically how this country, may or may not be divided. And the reason for that is that then I can spread this information more broadly. So YouTube likes that. Now, in other videos, you'll notice on the channel there are videos that do talk about the divisiveness of this country, the forces at play that are, the news events that are creating this liquidity injection, this flood, if you will, $4.7 trillion. So you can take a look at those and look for the stock idea or two that could benefit from that. But those are the three stocks. If you're just joining this live, this is live. I can see your comments. If you have a comment, go ahead and drop it and we can address it there. I will find a way to bring it up on the screen. I don't have it up on the screen right now. But that way we can make this a little more interactive. We can show a chart, get your stocks up here, whatever stocks are in your portfolio or whatever stocks you're looking at, maybe adding or deleting from your portfolio. So that's definitely on tap here. I just pulled up the comments, so I have that. Hit that like button. I saw we already had a like, so more people can find this. And yeah, we've got the chat right here. So this is actually live. And I might find a way to get the YouTube chat up on the screen for future lives. I did have it up previously. I just changed around some things with software and how we were streaming. So again, if you're just joining the live, ConocoPhillips oil stocks look interesting with an emphasis on oil rather than refineries. So SLBHAL, Halliburton, that I mentioned previously, could be interesting over the next week or two, but right now, the market pulling back, you want to let those be, I think, and look at a stock like COP, ConocoPhillips, and then PPLT and PALL for that platinum and palladium, respectively. I'm able to pronounce and assign those tickers to those appropriate commodities, even though they're very similar sounding and easy to mistype. So as far as other stocks sort of throughout the market broadly, I don't think that the nuclear stocks, the uranium stocks are quite ready to go. And they did go. If you look at URALEUCCJ, those are the big DNN, UUUU, big runs. And for example, take a look at CCJ over the past month. I think they need to pull back a little bit and give another opportunity for an entry. Basically how that works, right, is if something's run a lot, it's great that there's eyes on it, buying activity, volume, interest. But, if you buy at the top, you buy at the top. So you want to let people who are buying right now, which could be the top, and who bought last week, sell, create some supply. And then as that comes down and people start buying the dip, it creates a base and a new flagging opportunity as those buyers and sellers agree on the new price. So you don't have to buy the dip. That's one of the sort of misnomers about stocks is sometimes it's great to buy the dip, dollar cost average, if you're just a long-term investor and you have a strong belief about, say, for example, Bitcoin. You see this dip on Bitcoin and you just want to get in. It's below 100K, dollar cost average every week. Put whatever your income is for that week, no matter where it comes from. Putting, I don't know, 5%, something like that, 1% if you're incredibly conservative, into Bitcoin. And then over the course of the month, you've put 4% of your income into Bitcoin, which starts to sound like a lot. Over the course of a year, that's, 1% compounded. Let's say you grow an account 1% compounded over the course of a year. That's 60% that you have grown that account. So it really adds up, this whole compounding thing. Now, that was just an example. More broadly, as far as when to take an entry, like I was saying about uranium names, there's going to be people trying to buy the dip over the next week or two, probably. Let them do it. Let, supply come in, because as they buy the dip, the stock comes up. It's buying demand. And then people who are underwater, as they see the stock coming up, and they're like, oh, it's going up, I better sell. I got a good price. It's just going to go down more. So, it creates a price agreement. And then as that price agreement gets very tight, kind of like an auction, you literally go to an auction and people are saying, $150, $150 for this, painting. And then someone says, 151. So, at that point that the, the picture of the, banana on the wall or whatever it is going to get sold soon. People are only willing to pay, it's not like it's going from 150 and then the next person says, $200, and the next person says, $300, it's nothing like that. So that's what the price agreement is all about. And that's where you want to get in, right where the price agreement is almost exactly happening. Because unlike in the auction where, it's sold, once it's sold, no one else can, you need to run another auction, right? What happens with stocks is once there's price agreement, someone says 151, someone says 151 and 50 cents. That's where you want to get in and you want to say, yeah, I'll buy it 151, 50 cents. And what happens here is, in this example, this analogy, someone buys the banana on the wall, the painting, and then they go to, run their own auction and say they have, a way to basically show that they got it and this is the price and this is what everyone wants to pay for it. That's what we see on the stock charts every day. This is the price. This is what everyone wants to pay for the stock right now. And there's a lot of people agreeing that that's the price. Price is not changing a lot. And then what can happen is, if that just seems to be the price for a long time, everyone else is sort of watching this and being like, after a while, it's like, there's no way that painting, that banana on the wall is still worth that same amount, days later, even, weeks later, that's what we see on the stocks, it could be a day, a few days, a week later, where suddenly it's been the same price for a while, that price stabilized, and there's some sort of, move up in the market as a whole for paintings or for bananas, right? And then suddenly, we see this particular painting of the banana on the wall. We see this is the perfect painting for the increase in demand for bananas, for that sector, for the painting sector, for the whole art market as a whole is going up. And so we say, we don't want to buy the whole art market. We want to buy the painting that is in the market that does have the banana. So that's picking out the sector within the rising market and saying, there's going to be a lot of demand for that because everyone's been watching the market. And so we get in before everyone else. And then as that auction starts to happen, the new auction, with the new market environment, the price goes up and we already, we're the one auctioning it off because we own a piece of that banana, right? So we're saying, and there actually is fractional ownership for auctions. So this is an apt example. oh yeah, we'll sell ours, or we'll sell a piece of ours, sell a fraction of our fraction. No, this is legitimately how it can work for fractionalized art. So anyway, COP, PPLT, PALL, best stock goes in the Discord at 9:30. Good luck. Could be the steal of the century. And it's Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. Not financial advice. Do your own research. As always, keep watching videos as they come